no stranger to talking about metalcore on this channel for pretty much this entire channel's lifespan. It's one of my favorite subgenres of metal, and it's something that I am very knowledgeable in. I love dozens, hundreds of bands in this subgenre, and I've listened to hundreds of hours of material. And with that knowledge comes the realization of everything that is in the room, what is on the bed, under the carpet, in the closet, on the table, behind the table, and in that one drawer that no one wants to look in. And the big part of metalcore that has somewhat defined, especially the modern era of metalcore, is the breakdown, the art of the breakdown. And in this video, what I want to do is just talk a little bit about my personal outlook of the issue with breakdowns in modern metalcore. There was a time in metalcore where it wasn't just solely built around one specific crescendo. You would have solid songs that functioned with good songwriting as solid music from start to finish and was not just relying on the shock and awe of a breakdown. But throughout time, specifically in the mid to late 2010s, there started to be this gradual shift in the musical landscape, specifically with metal, that is colloquially known as the loudness war. The attempt to try to up the ante, push the boundaries of how loud you can make music, and push the limits of how heavy a breakdown could be. And suddenly it became less about making good music and solely about the ending payoff, with no sort of ascent upwards that felt like it was worthwhile before you reach that peak dynamic of a song. And with bands like Infant Annihilator, which I attribute a lot of this to Infant Annihilator, I made an entire video about like the importance of them. Metalcore, and to a lesser degree deathcore, although it doesn't suffer nearly as much with this problem, it's not nearly as afflicted with it, started to become less about the music and more about that payoff. In recent memory, there has kind of been this plague of what I call like the content creator syndrome, and this is in no form or fashion to blame of the content creators, and I'm not pointing a finger at anyone trying to blame anyone, but with reaction culture, especially on YouTube and TikTok and stuff, and YouTubers making videos, making, you know, PogChamp faces with a red arrow pointing at them, reacting to the newest Knock Loose song, or Jiluka song, or Ginger, or whatever it may be, you have this sort of growing trend of how much can we make our breakdown shocking so that a reactor will look at it and make a, you know, crazy face and make a thumbnail off of it and get a bunch of views, and so we're gonna get more exposure. And it's also revealed a lot of the weakness that a lot of bands personally have. Or even if you're not trying to be as heavy as possible, all breakdowns seem to be this telegraph thing, as if they fully understand what you are wanting and what they need to build towards, and so they just point in that direction and nothing else, so that the whole song just plays out like a generic metalcore song, and then you hear that build up, the dun-dun, 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 with some cheesy ass call out. All you gotta do is get really close to the microphone and get like eerie with it, and then like go crazy. And let me stand up for this. Let me go over here. You gotta be like, the world, and then do like breathing noises and be like, the world is caving in. Proceed to the breakdown. And then it just feels like so vapid in that 15 or 20 seconds that the breakdown is there, unless a band tries to stretch it out longer. But on the flip side of this, this doesn't mean that the other side of the coin is like exempt from the blame of this. The loudness war type of breakdowns are just as negative in my opinion. And also, to go hand in hand with the content creator thing, there are so many bands that try to capitalize on that by making their breakdowns as experimental as possible. Now, this is the group that I am not nearly as like, I don't really have an issue with it. I think it's fine. Bands like Jiluka, bands like Knock Loose sometimes like do some cool shit with breakdowns to innovate how they are written and what you should usually expect from them. So I don't really have any qualms or beef with those types of bands. I think if you're doing something experimental and also trying to build more exposure by making that shock and awe, I think that's perfectly fine. But if you are just clearly playing for the breakdown and you have a song that is 3, 4, 5 minutes, there are absolutely no excuses that you just make some boring dime a dozen hook and a bunch of chunky riffs and vocals and lyrics that have no power behind them and no life behind them. You're just clearly putting all of your eggs in the basket of making a great breakdown, in your opinion. Is this something that I've just noticed? What are your opinions of metalcore breakdowns? You can let me know down below. I can't wait to hear your opinion on this. Agree or disagree. There is no wrong answer. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to join the review family today, and smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. You know who it is. My name is Jay Morrison. I'm signing off saying farewell.